Hey guys, welcome back to Doc Lil Talks Comics. I had a video that I was going to do, but instead, unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to be snowed out from going and getting my new books tomorrow. So I'm going to break this down over the next few days because I'll probably still be snowed in until later this week. So it's top 5 books or runs of a title, 4, 5, 6 issues, story arcs, whatever you want to call it, that you can reread over and over again when you're snowed in, and they have that emotional resonance every single time. So the first one that I wanted to talk to you about tonight is Amazing Spider-Man number 75, written by Stan Lee with art by, I believe it's Jim Mooney and John Romita Sr. And it is the finale to the Life Tablet saga that the Kingpin and Silvermane and the Magia and a bunch of the different pieces all came together looking for this one stone that would supposedly grant the person eternal youth, forever life, whatever you want to call it. And in the end, Silvermane, who is by far the oldest of all the characters in the comic, gets what he thinks is his prize. But at what cost? You get to see a morality tale from these creators. They're telling you, be careful what you wish for, because if you wish too high, then just like Icarus, your wings of wax will melt and you will fall. And Silvermane definitely reached. He overreached. He didn't care about the consequences. We would see a similar story like that in The Gathering of the Five with Norman Osborn at the very tail end of the original run of Amazing Peter Parker, Webb, and Spectacular Spider-Man back in 1997. We would see that type of story where Norman didn't care because it was the Gathering of the Five and each person would receive a gift, but one of them would receive insanity. And that's what it looked like Norman got at that point. But to go back to this original story, you get to see that Silvermane turns back the clock. But again, the question is, at what cost? What is going to happen that's going to make him regret his decision? And if you've never seen the cover, it's an absolute classic by John Romita Sr. It's one of the Silver Age books that I've had in my collection for decades at this point, probably since my early 20s, if not before that. But you see Spider-Man walking away from a pile of clothes with his head in his hand. One of the first face palms, I suppose. And it finishes that story arc in such a beautiful way. But then you have to question and say, is eternal youth worth it? What happens if something goes terribly wrong? In the words of Indiana Jones, what if you don't choose wisely? What if you drink from the wrong cup of Christ? What will happen? What is going to befall you if things go south? I never was a huge Kingpin fan as far as the politics and the Magia and trying to get everything involved. But you can't deny the power of the story of someone reaching for something that they want so badly and then it turning out terribly for them. So that is the first book of the 5, and I do have some honorable mentions. But sorry about the noise in the background there. That's my stepson. But he's snowed in too, so we'll give him a pass. But anyway, that's the first of the 5 that we're going to talk about, guys. And then I've got some honorable mentions, and I'll do that at the final video. But this ought to tide us over for the next few days. And you know, it's very funny because I've had this channel just about 2 years, and this is how this channel got started. Was I was snowed in at my previous place with my soon-to-be wife, now my wife, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do this. I'll go on here and see if anybody cares that I talk about comic books. And it all started with that. So thank you for joining me these 2 years, guys. I've got a lot more great content coming up. Part 2, if I remember correctly, is Dark Knight Returns. So be looking for that, guys, and we'll catch you in the next video. If you get snowed in, stay safe, stay warm, stay dry, and don't get out there unless you have to, because I had to come home from work this morning and the streets were just absolutely ice. Ended up sliding. Got to play with the new 4-wheel drive, so that was fun. But skidded sideways twice. That was a little bit unnerving. So like I said, if you're in Mississippi like I am, then just stay safe out there. And if you can stay home, please do so. All right, guys, take care, and we'll catch you next time.